I had to deal with, although it's Sesshin, I had to deal with one email, since it was it needed my response, and it was about this temple. How can I say, a bell, big bell, that we are going to order or buy from Japan. There was some little misunderstanding, or so I thought, because there were wrong pictures included, and they have now made the professional package for everything and going to send it, but I had checked that is it really the one that we thought we would order. And now finally it all went well, and after this session, when we have paid, they will send it here. This bell this bell is coming to live here with us, and is going to participate for all daily activities. Not all, but for those that bell can. We don't know yet where we will place it, since it's quite large, 60 centimeter high and 30 centimeter wide. If I remember correctly, it's made October, 2nd of October 1878. And in this email today, because I asked those kanjis that was on the side of the bell, who there's mentioned the donator and some other details, and also there was mentioned this where this bell is from. And now they are going to check if this temple is still existing, and what branch of Buddhism it was then. But anyway, this place where it comes is Hiroshima. And somehow it just hits the fact that it has a lot of, how can I say, at least in our minds, in our human history, that terrible war. So, yeah, hopefully this bell can lessen our hate every time when we play this bell. We can remember something. So, yesterday I asked, or day before yesterday, why should we build temples, or if everything is all right anyway? Maybe that's one reason. It's just that we are still so full of hate, greediness, and so on. So if this Buddhist path, this practice of Zen, can open somehow our hearts and mind, so that we can embrace this life instead of fighting back. It's so so clear and obvious that we are far from that still. And still at the same time, not only us practicing Buddhism, but everything, all people, all beings, animals and plants and compost, trash and everything is protected by Buddha. It sounds religious to say so, but that's how it is. This practice of Zen is very special in the sense that it's not really about that somebody is telling us kind of conceptual truth, and then we read it or listening to it and that's it, and then we believe that maybe it is so. Because whatever those teachers in Buddhism has said, it's also true what Buddha said, that during those 49 years of teaching, he never spoke a word. He never taught a word. So much talking like now, but it's not in words. Words can be, of course, inspiration and help to look to the right direction. But we must ourselves, we must work the work. And since we are not less than Buddhas, none of us is less. Always been like this. It is this misunderstanding. We could say it's misunderstanding. It's kind of dramatic misunderstanding from our side that we don't see it, and instead of that we follow those habits of hate and greediness. And why so? I don't know. Many good reasons. We feel insecure because we are insecure if we want to live this life of separate self. We will never be we never will feel safe, because we have to protect this separate being, or separate as we think it is. Of course it is not. It's impossible. It's so totally impossible. Of course, like scientifically we can understand it. And then even better is if we can just let it happen. But in our body, for example, We know everything has changed a few times in this lifetime already. All cells has been replaced with new ones, and all these materials and that this body has composed have been existing before in this limitless space, before this body. Perhaps this was part of some sun, some star, some planet somewhere in this endless vast cosmos. Everything is like that, so how can I even think that I am somehow separate? Because I have some ideas, of course. Maybe I can say that this body is not exactly uniquely my own. Maybe it's been used before in different compositions. What about words? None of these words I'm using is made by me. They are made by generations of people communicating to each other, communicating some practical things like cooking and planting and surviving this life. These words not made by me. But still there is this one unique thing, which is just this moment. And now if I try to make this my own moment, then I am in trouble. And that's anyway what I try to do sometimes. I try to be in this moment somehow separate. It feels so stupid, if you say so. Like, how come? So here we are, for reasons unknown, or karmic reasons, if you may. This is now happening. This temple has started to emerge for us to look what is in front of our eyes. Nothing else. What is in front of our eyes? What is in front of our eyes? Not behind our eyes where we are thinking. That's okay. But thoughts are so thin. They are so thin and transparent. So are feelings. Everything is very much transparent. When I started this path in this Shanghai in Zengården, and in my first session, we call them makios, those sort of hallucinations or different kind of ideas maybe, and so. But I don't know if they all are completely. I don't know, and I'm not very much like a superpower person. I mean, I don't have any, and also I don't think about those very much. But sometimes you have, anyway, you have those. And I don't say that somebody, I mean, there can be, every one of you can do those things maybe. And it's fine. But it was this image that so often came to during this first session, and also sometimes later on different sessions, this feeling of, it wasn't any thought, but it was just an image about the Buddha figure. And how in this limitless, endless space, which is our home, those Buddha statues are placed here and there. Like we could say stars. There are billions of stars, but still in between those stars there is a huge amount of space. But those Buddha statues, so I felt, are kind of, what is it called? There's this light that boats can travel over the sea without hitting rocks. Lighthouse, yes, that's the word. And I don't mean any kind of, but it was just this strong, very good feeling, I would say. Of course, it was very deep, warm feeling about those Buddha statues. And also, not only Buddha statues, but also some other little items here and there that we see in temples and so. That now I'm very honest, and so I believe that those little items here and there floating in the sky or floating in space like we do now, they are not just decoration, but as I said, they are kind of lighthouses, or they are something that somebody can suddenly recognize. Oh, I've seen this before. This feels somehow familiar. It feels like I have had it before. Although you don't know it. You never seen maybe things like such, or you never thought that you suddenly could have this strong connection, feeling of connection, feeling of that it is mine somehow, or I'm part of it. This is not first time I see this thing. So this is a kind of another kind of level of talking about this subject, because if it's so, I don't say that it is, but this is how I believe. So if it is like this, then it's not really, then they have really some true, they are like signposts for us. We can use them. We can study them, and perhaps, who knows, next time when we are traveling across the space, we pump up with something like that, and this feels somehow familiar. So this is to say that in this timeless place, it's okay even if there is uncountable amounts of lives. It's still this one moment. It's still this timeless now. And this practice is, it is not some course of Buddhism that we take and then it's done. But it is continuously going on. It's the way of living, and it's also the way to help others. So, okay. So that was about the bell from Hiroshima, and I will tell you if I get to know more about it. I mean, we will get to know more about it, but probably not during the Sesshin. And it was actually I don't mention name, but one person wanted to donate it for us, for this temple. And so it's already donated once, and now it will be donated second time. Beautiful. And that person will donate it. Will donate it for the memoir, or how you say, for the memoir of this person's mother, who has passed away already. So this is kind of the way that this person wants to also remember her mother. Yes, about mothers. It is really like this practice. And this is another person who once said something like how this practice is like a little child, or maybe even unborn child. And like mother is so totally connected. I mean, they are one. This unborn child and the mother. So is our practice, and we who practice. Its interconnectedness is 100%. And we give to this practice, like mother does, everything it needs. We don't cut some vein and say that I don't give you this blood anymore, or so we give everything that this practice needs. And this practice one day will protect us. So it goes. Yesterday I read, we had this koan, the Buddha points to the ground. And there we have, they were walking. He was walking, Buddha was walking with his disciples, and he pointed to the ground and said this would be a good place to build a temple. Indra took a stem of grass, stuck it into the ground and said, "The temple is built." The Buddha smiled. So here we have Indra. Indra is not, in a sense, just an everyday neighbor. Indra is, of course, comes from Hinduism, if I am at all correct, but has been around a while, and in many traditions Indra has some work assignment. And in Buddhism, Indra is kind of a king of the gods. And what is, as just mentioned, that one day this practice will take care of us, if we take care of it now. Indra was told to be the first who gave a bath to this newly born Buddha. And now he is here with Buddha, and they are walking there together and talking about building a temple. And this Indra is also protector of Buddha, like in Buddhist cosmology, or how you say, at least in cosmology, this Indra is living in, what is this? This mountain, Sumeru. Somewhere there above Mount Sumeru, there is this place where Indra is having his living quarters, and he's also a ruler in there. And the place, more precisely, is one of those 6 realms where devas are living and spending their time before they have to leave there, because it's still impermanent. Those, okay, now maybe a little bit sooner about those 6 worlds, because they are quite 6 realms. They are quite interesting, like to think about how they are. But soon I will say something about that. Before, just back to Indra, because Indra is also, as we know, at least Svante Rossi's book is called Indra's Net, if I remember. And Indra's net is, of course, a concept in Buddhism also, and quite beautiful one. So it is really this infinity large net, like a spider net, a little bit. And across this universe, everywhere those cords are going, and Indra has them in his hands. And all those crossroads that those cords are crossing each other, there is this jewel that will reflect every other jewel. And every other jewel is reflected on that jewel. So this kind of, as it says, interconnectedness or dependent origination is, of course, kind of a theory or explanation, but it is also what we were just talking about here, how we all are connected and how we cannot be separated. In Avatamsaka Sutra, there is just this short, which describes a little bit of this Indra's net. If untold Buddha lands are reduced to atoms, in one atom are untold lands, and as in one, so in each. The atoms to which these Buddha lands are reduced in an instant are unspeakable, and so are the atoms of continuous reduction moment to moment, going on for untold ions. These atoms contain lands unspeakably many, and the atoms in these lands are even harder to tell of. So, endless, timeless, unborn. Maybe we have to leave this for tomorrow, because I don't want to start a new subject when we have so few minutes before Kinhin. But temple anyway. I myself, I am a little bit, has been in my life a little bit against all kind of temples, and because it's always a risk that it becomes a power game or somehow political thing, or so it's kind of this good thing that could happen in temple is suddenly, sooner or later, it has become just another sad story of greediness and hate, and because originally anyway things are perfectly fine, so why to try one's luck and put the temple up and see how again we people will mess it up. So that has been sort of a fear. I don't mean that it would happen necessarily here ever, but it's just like it's seen so many times how good intention turns to be something quite evil. So it is a big responsibility, of course, a huge responsibility for us who are coming here to protect this place. And how we do it? We have to solve our own shortcomings and have to work with our own hate and grasping, and so that we don't bring it here too much. I will end this talk. There is this Buddha's, the koan that we read, but we didn't read the verse. The Buddha points to the ground. On the 100 grass tips, boundless spring. Taking what is at hand, use it freely. Buddha's 16-foot golden body of manifold merit, spontaneously extending a hand, enters the red dust. Within the dust he can be host. Coming from another world, naturally he is guest. Wherever you are, be content with your role. dislike not those more adept than you. A lot of wisdom here. All right, may all beings attain the Buddha way. And now we will make 3 prostrations.